bringing back Right, Wrong, Really. If anybody forgot what Right, Wrong, Really is, or you were not with us this past season, we do a segment on the show where we go over things that we were right about, things that we were wrong about, and things that we're confused about, which is a really. And we basically are going to go, not anything that happened last week. We're just going to go through the season so far, things that we were right about, wrong about, and we're just kind of confused about. So that being said, Josh, would you like to kick us off?
Yeah, it's a little early. I would be doing a victory lap on Trey Lance right now, but once again, it's just I can't do it again. It's sad. I'll get there one day. But let's start off with another guy I was right about. I was right about Kyle Pitts. You know, just
This
kidding.
has been going on for like
It's
2 years.
2021, baby.
I'm just kidding. So honestly, though, I am technically right about Kyle Pitts, and what I'm really trying to get at here is I'm right about not spending high dollar draft picks on tight ends. Not named Kelsey and Andrews, obviously. So after week 3, there is a 20-point gap between 2 and 3 through 5. And guys like Gerald Everett and Tyler Conklin are in the top 10 tight ends right now, while guys like Kyle Pitts and Dawson Knox are in the 15 to 20 range. And there's that huge drop-off kills me the most, but I have noticed in all the leagues that I drafted tight ends later, i.e. Zach Ertz, Pat Freiermuth, I have better records than those that I drafted Kittle, not his fault, and Pitts. So I'm just saying you can't do anything about it now. I'm just saying next year, for your future reference, wait on tight end if you're not getting one of the top 2. The 3 has been a weird situation over many, many years where the 3 is sometimes good, and I think that person is Kittle, and I think that changes here soon. But the gap between 2 and 3 is usually ridiculous, and I feel bad if you drafted a tight end in the 4th round.
So you disagree with the fact that there is such a positional advantage to having a stud tight end on your team. You disagree with that?
I don't disagree with that. I disagree with the fact of spending a 4th or 5th round pick on a tight end that's tight end 3 or 4 or 5. Waller's done okay, sure. But the tight ends that are, you got 3, you got yourself a Kyle Pitts, which was the tight end 3 this year. You have tight end 15 right now on the board after 3 weeks. And instead, what you could have had, what you could have had was a wide receiver or running back.
DJ Moore.
I hope you wouldn't draft DJ Moore right there. But yeah, you could have had a better player is all I'm saying.
Okay, well, we don't need to. We can discuss the Kyle Pitts thing again, but in all reality, if you're in a dynasty league right now, you need to be making offers for Kyle Pitts, because when he actually gets a quarterback and they actually use an offensive system that is conducive to the players on the field and not just chuck into Drake London for the whole entire game, Kyle Pitts will eventually flourish in this offense, but we're not there yet. Like, they're not even targeting Cordell Patterson, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense since that's how his bread was buttered last year. It doesn't make any sense that they're not doing it now. But Arthur Smith and his ingenious, we don't care about fantasy style of, I don't care about the offense, this is what we're left with. And Kyle Pitts is just not going to be used, it appears, this year as well. And as soon as they get in an actual offensive coordinator, Kyle Pitts will be fine. It does not look like it's going to be this year, which sucks because his athletic ability is not being used at all.
20-point gap. 20-point gap from 2 to 3.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be, and he is. And
I agree, but I'm telling you that this is why you don't draft that tight end 3.
Honestly, the
tight end 2
owner of the Falcons needs to take that stat right there straight to Arthur Smith and be like, this should not be a thing. Our best player on the field should be the tight end. Why can we not have Andrews? Why can we not have Kelsey? Why can we not have Waller? Like, why can't we have that? We have the player. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Mariota is worried about 2 things: running and throwing it to Drake London, and then nothing else. And then I guess
my Drake London shares are balling right now. So
my rookie of the year shares are balling too. So hey. All right, let's get on to the next right though. In the interest of moving things along, and I'll take my victory lap next, and that is Mr. Amon-Ra St. Brown. I told everybody in the offseason, don't fade the sun god. You are foolish if you do this, because although they're gaining Jameson Williams, who we all said on this podcast, he's going to be out the first at least 6 weeks probably. So you knew for a fact he was going to be out there. And then they added DJ Chark, which people are like, I remember specifically this dude in our mentions said, he's a Pro Bowler. He's better than Amon-Ra. Like, I was like, bro, chill, buddy. It's not like that. Amon-Ra, number 4 in fantasy this year as far as wide receivers go, and he is just a stud. Just because he balled out at the end of the season when he was the only person available for those targets did not mean that he was a bad player or that he was only, that was just who he was because he was getting fed that much. It's because he was good. In the offensive coordinator clearly took notice of that. They clearly are going to use him going forward. And honestly, you were just silly if you were selling him low or selling him high or whatever. It was just a silly move, and you should feel bad about doing it.
Yeah, a lot of people talked about how adding all these guys, he'd be irrelevant. He was a rookie last year. Of course, he's going to take a little bit of time to integrate into the offense. Not everyone is Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. So, when Amon-Ra finally showed what he can do, he is the number one receiver on that team. Now, when Jameson Williams gets there, I think it's really going to set that whole offense off. So they're already the second highest point scoring team in the league. Add another weapon to that, and who knows what stratosphere this offense will be at.
I think the biggest thing for me of this is I think we all agreed with you. None of us were like, Amon-Ra sucks. I think the biggest thing was the people who thought DJ Chark was just going to come in and just be this absolute madman. And it was more like, okay, Amon-Ra did it last year, already has chemistry with Goff, and is obviously more talented than DJ Chark, who's had one good season his second year. I don't understand. It's great depth for Detroit. I'm glad they got him. I think they paid him a little bit too much, but I think the trio between those three with Hawkinson and Swift and Jamal Williams, that's an offense, man. And unlike Pittsburgh, so far they know how to use them. So,
yeah.
And you can't tell me that Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, and DJ Chark are not all the same player.
They're pretty
You really
interchangeable,
can't.
honestly.
Yeah, you really can't. And the thing is this offseason, we were all pounding the Lions drum saying that this offense, it doesn't make sense on paper how they're not going to be electric this year just based on and when Jameson Williams got back, we were like, it's only going to take that much further to stratosphere. So just to see what they've been able to do thus far is just amazing. And yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown, welcome to the big leagues.
Yeah, if you guys haven't been watching the Lions, you guys are missing out. That team is awesome.
It's fun games. They don't always go the Lions' way, but they're at least fun to watch.
They don't go the Lions' way because they kick a field goal from the 42-yard line and then miss it on a 4th and 1. All right, sorry. It's my Detroit side coming out. Getting a little angry.
All right, I'm going to take my victory lap. It's DJ Moore. The craziest stat of the year. Laviska Shenault has more yards, 90, on 2 catches in 1 game than DJ Moore has all year, 88 yards on 7 receptions in 3 games. I knew it would be bad. I did not know it would be this bad. He's averaging less than a yard per route run. He's still playing 97% of the snaps, and he still leads the team in targets, so there is hope. But damn it if I didn't tell you not to draft him.
You're damn right. I was on your side. Billy was against it. Billy thought Baker was going to keep pounding.
It was first of all, yes, of course, doing keep pounding, hashtag keep pounding. But the thing is, the receiving core, I did not know that there were people on the roster named like Giovanni Ricci or whoever that is. I think that's an actor, but somehow he's on the field.
He's a fullback, isn't he?
Shi Smith, who I thought was on the practice squad. Baker dug him up and threw him out there. Tommy Trimble, which we were still hoping for the best, Ian Thomas, DJ Moore, Rodney. Like, there are just so many people on this team that I thought maybe Baker was going to try to just lean in on his best target, but this man can find a water boy and he will throw him a pass for 20 yards on the sideline. That'll be the only thing he does the whole game.
Yeah.
But DJ Moore's that water boy now, unfortunately.
Yeah,
He's so talented. He's so talented. He should be getting just absolutely fed, but he is not. So
I am super excited about them using Shenault. I think I said on the podcast last week that I was like, why is Shenault not being used? And they used him and it worked. It's almost like they got him for a reason. But anyway, on to the more somber notes, the wrongs. So before this season started, I truly believed in guys like, Najee Harris, Joe Mixon, and Dalvin Cook being more valuable than Diggs and Kupp, who I both thought were due for some regression here. And I could not have been more wrong. Kupp and Diggs both have they just have their quarterback's number. They text them in the morning. They get breakfast with each other. And so far, the leading 2 running backs, if ranked as wide receivers right now, that would be Nick Chubb and our boy Saquon Barkley. They'd be wide receivers 5 and 6. And running backs 4 through 6 were ranked even lower than that at wide receivers 10 through 15. So wide receiver is clearly more valuable. This is due mostly to bad play by their teams. Najee, Cook, and Mixon should be fine in the long run, although they are all harboring injuries going into this next week and through the next few weeks, probably. But the state of this running back decline is just mostly due to running back committees. Guys like Austin Eckler, DeAndre Swift, Javonte Williams have all been pulled in the red zones for the like of their mostly less talented backups, which to me makes no sense, really, other than Swift, who has been injured since the beginning of the year. And I think that they're truly just nursing that injury and trying to be safe, which obviously shows what happened with him, and that's why he's going to be out the next couple of weeks. But with this, the few true running back ones have diminished at the moment for the likes of James Robinson and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who rank at 3 and 4 of running backs. So due to their pass game usage and touchdowns and whatnot. But I just wouldn't be surprised at the end of the year to those who took those wide receivers over running backs in the first round are just going to win more leagues. And hopefully you got yourself Cup Diggs over Najee Mixon right now, because it looks rough.
Josh, you bring up a really good point here on this one. And James Robinson being number 3 on that one and CEH being 4, or vice versa. When you send trades to people, that's what they look at. They open it up and they're like, oh, shit, wide receiver, running back 3. And they'll accept the trade. Sell high on those guys. We're going to have our studs back. But yes, it has been absolutely horrible.
Same with Curtis Samuel. Someone said he got somebody I was in a group chat in the league, and they were like, he got wide receiver number 3 on the year. And I was like, like, you guys realize it's been 2 weeks, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah. I said this offseason that I was going to be heavy into the 0 RB strategy because I just lost all faith in running backs. And I mean, honestly, this doesn't shock me at all that this is where we're at now, because it's just felt like it was going to be frustrating, and it has been so far.
Yeah, I drafted Najee Mixon at 10. Somehow I'm 2-1 in this league, but that's mainly due to not them.
I was about to say,
the
I
guys that
have
aren't in
Diggs
committees
Chase.
aren't doing anything.
Yeah.
So it's
even like Najee, even Mixon.
Najee, Cook. I mean, it's bad.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor has had a couple bad. He had 1 good game, 2 bad games. I mean, it's just even like the top guys right now. It's just you're getting way more value from Diggs and Chase, even, who's not even doing that much right now. So it's just the wide receivers market. Tyreek Hill was a late second round pick. So
yeah, the thing is like if you do 0 RB, you have to be able to hit on those back end guys like James Robinson, for example. And if you ended up with people like me who ended up with like Zeke in a lot of leagues,
you're doing fine. It's not great, but it's not bad.
But you needed him to hit harder. And he will hit harder.
But no running backs are hitting. That's the thing. Like, I mean, except for Nick Chubb and Saquon Barkley. Only 2.
I having Kamara right now, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, let me get on to my wrong, and that was Chris Olave. I thought he was going to be a potential draft bust, and he's not. I can safely say that after last week's game where we were missing Landry, missing Michael Thomas. He went 9 for 147. I mean, he still hasn't scored a touchdown yet. He has gotten a 2-point conversion. But he got 80 yards in the last game on 13 targets. Like, clearly Jameis feels like he can trust him to throw him the ball. I just really did not see him being this receiver. I just didn't. I mean, I thought Garrett Wilson was better, and I thought Chris Olave just kind of was benefiting from being in the Ohio State offense. That was not the case. Garrett Wilson is a stud. That's not a problem. He is a stud, but like, I did not expect this from Chris Olave, and to see him doing this is just, I don't know, kind of shocking. So I definitely was wrong about that one.
I actually have to say Chris Olave is just wild. The most wild part of that to me is the fact that he is doing it with 2 other guys on the team who are supposed to be better than him at this point. I mean, this early in the season to Olave to have 2 good games like this already, it's looking good for his future and career.
Yeah, I mean, the craziest thing was it week 2? He had like 300 air yards or some crazy nonsense like that. I mean, they're just feeding him the rock. And Josh, you're absolutely right. With Michael Thomas and Landry there, it does not make sense. And freaking Kamara. But
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, he's really good. He's really good. And I was on record saying, the man refuses to run into contact. He would, catch the ball and fall down or run out of bounds or stuff. But he's shown me a lot. And I was wrong on him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what else I was wrong about?
What's that?
Travis Etienne. You
Whoa.
guys remember this?
You're admitting it, which is
Yeah. I'm not ready to get off the train yet, but I'm willing to admit I was a little bit wrong about this. On the season, I mean, James Robinson's playing more snaps, quite a bit more at this point. They tried to get Etienne more involved, but I did not anticipate James Robinson having this type of workload or coming back so quickly. I love James Robinson. You can ask Josh and Billy. I've been on the James Robinson train for a long time, but the Achilles injury scared the crap out of me, and I was completely off of him. And Etienne, I mean, if you watch his tape and you watch him run, he looks awesome. So I was all in on Etienne. I was telling people to take him early in the second round, which I hope, you guys didn't. I did. I followed my words. I drafted him way too early in too many leagues, and just praying for the best at this point.
Well, here's the thing, Joe. Here's why I think that things can turn around for you. The Jaguars look really good, and their offense is just conducive to people being good. For the time being, it just appears like they're going to try to prove that Christian Kirk was not a bad contract as much as possible, which is fair. I would be doing the same thing. And James Robinson's actually just been playing out of his mind. We've never seen a player come back from his type of injury and play this well. He literally is going to be the case for years to come when somebody's coming back from his injury. Like he is setting an all-time moment. Like we're witnessing it, which is wild. So it wasn't bad. Like the process wasn't bad. It's just the results have been not miserable. What you wanted. Yes.
So Joe, as much as I love the victory lap because I was on the James Robinson train, I'm actually not going to do that because I think what this is very similar to Green Bay. It's going to be a 1A, 1B type of guy. Like it's going to be Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. Etienne hasn't gotten it going yet, but it's not long until he breaks something out or he gets a little bit more work or James Robinson fumbles, so he gets an extra play and he runs for 12 yards and then all of a sudden it's his game. So I'm not saying sit James Robinson. Do not do that. Play him. Like he is running back 3 for a reason right now. He's playing great. And also they're playing a team that is in all things considered not good at stopping the run. So please start him this week. That's
Absolutely.
the Eagles.
Absolutely.
All right, getting into the reallys, and this is really going to ruffle some feathers here, but my really is to all those people saying Miami's the real deal. So there's 2 undefeated teams right now, and that is the Eagles and the Dolphins. Personally, I barely believe that the Eagles are the real deal. The fact that the Eagles are 3-0 makes sense to me right now, though. They had, for one, a very easy schedule and kind of continue to. And then 2, have clearly played better than the other teams. Yes, the Dolphins played better than the Patriots. That's not a question. They're terrible. But the comeback against the Ravens was all fluky. They absolutely should have lost that game. The Ravens played complete terrible defense in the fourth quarter and all but just handed the game to them. But in Buffalo last week, I don't know how anyone thinks that was Miami being good. That was Josh Allen being bad. He just dropped the snap 3 times. I don't know if they have a new center or something that's going on, but Josh Allen just could not hold on to the ball for life of him and just dropped it 3 times, which led to basically sacks on 2 of them and the ball in the hands of the other one. So Hill and Waddle can only carry Tua so far, personally. And other than dump offs and quick slants, Tua has been wildly inaccurate and still can't throw the deep ball. So personally, I'm not buying it. And over the next 5 weeks, they play the Bengals, Jets, Vikings, Steelers, and Lions. And I'm stating right now, and I'll fireball bet on this, I have no problem, or whatever other beverage we'd like to, that they lose 3 of those games.
Oh, sign me up.
And show their true colors.
Sign me up.
I'll write this one down for you all. I do think Miami loses the next one, but I don't think they lose 3. It's crazy.
I understand that, but the Jets, go ahead and count that the dub. The Vikings can't be bad forever. The Steelers are pretty bad, and the Lions are surging. So Bengals, Vikings, Lions, in my opinion. But
as much
Steelers
as I am
Jets
pro Jalen Hurts, man, I'm very pro Tua as well. So
he has not shown anything. Did you see how he literally has a concussion right now? That man can barely think right now, much less play football.
And that was rough to watch, and he should not have been playing. But
should not have been playing.
He's got the fastest team on the field against anyone he plays against. It's just undoubted at this point. At that offense, with even lackadaisical and lacking arm talent, he can't miss.
I think my biggest
guys
thing
are open all the time. everywhere.
I understand that, but the thing is he can't make the throws, and all it takes is one good read by the secondary to go, oh, if they just turned around for a second instead of trying to chase Cheetah down, they could take 17 less steps and get an interception. And number two, there's no run game. They have no run game. So the thing is, once you get one interception against Tua, they're going to stack up quick, and you're going to have 3 interceptions against Tua because he's going to lose the confidence. They have no run game to back it up. They're going to have to throw the whole time. Yes, Tyreek Hill and Waddle are phenomenal. I have never doubted that. Tua's not.
The defenses that they have played have made sure that they don't have a run game up to this point. Mostert is just getting his engine warmed up right now, and we're about to see him break loose against these shitty defenses that he's about to be playing against.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
Well, I think Miami's good. I don't think Tua is the reason that they're good. So it's just I think this is a Mike McDaniel and this is a Tyreek Hill, and then that's it. It's those two guys holding this whole team up. However, we'll move on. So my really is the Los Angeles Chargers, and this really is directed towards the football gods. What are you doing against them, man? What is this? Like, we have to sit through all of these guys getting injured and the Chargers season getting pretty much derailed at this point. So just to count up the injuries so far, Justin Herbert's ribs are, I don't know how he's still playing football. He clearly did not look like he was playing football against the Jaguars out there. He's not all the way there, not all the way healthy, and he's clearly, that's clearly going to affect him for a couple of weeks now. We've got Keenan Allen, who's missed a couple weeks now, we don't know exactly when he's going to be back. They just lost Rashawn Slater, the offensive tackle, for the season. He was one of their bright spots on their offensive line, so it's only going to hurt the run game more. They lost Joey Bosa for multiple weeks with a groin injury. They've missed J.C. Jackson to start the season. Jalen Guyton's tore his ACL. He's out for the season. This is turning into a disaster for the Chargers. And I hate this because we went through their roster at the beginning of the season and we were like, how could this go wrong? The only thing that could go wrong is injuries. And the football guys decided to test this theory. And I hate this for them because we're getting robbed of good football in that AFC West, because the Chargers are just not going to be able to compete if they lose more players against the Chiefs. Not going to be possible.
Yeah, it's sad, honestly. Offensively, obviously, missing Keenan Allen's a big part. Losing Guyton, he pretty much had no role in the beginning anyway. He obviously, nobody wants to see an injury, but I don't think that affected their offense.
But it's depth. They're shredding depth.
The thing that doesn't, and obviously the defensive injuries hurt to me, but the fact that their offense doesn't flow through Eckler right now, especially, makes no sense to me. I don't care how. Get that man the ball 20 times. Maybe even get Isaiah Spiller in there. Didn't they spend a high draft pick on him? But instead we're going to see Sony Michel. Let's see Sony Michel, which, okay, sure, he's fine. But why the fuck is Josh Kelly in there still? I thought we proved that we drafted Isaiah Spiller for a reason at this point. Isaiah Spiller Josh Kelly and Justin Jackson, sure, he did a fine job, but he wasn't a starting capability. Why are we giving these guys the goal line work? Why is Eckler pulled outside the 20s or inside the 20s? Just makes me angry.
That defense on paper should absolutely just be dominant. And that's what's killing me about this team. It's just watching them every week. And it's how are you guys not just destroying the other team?
It's, I don't know, not good. And I feel like it's going to get worse before it gets better for them. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah, the Joey Bosa Khalil Mack combo was working really well in week 1, and since then has done nothing because you can guard one guy, but it's hard to guard two guys on both edges.
Sad times.
Dude, my really is just this season in general. I am absolutely shocked by this season in general. I'm going to open this up for discussion here in a second. But we got the Dolphins undefeated. The Raiders are 0-3. The Jags are leading the AFC South. My Bears are sitting at 2-1. You got Nick Chubb and Saquon Barkley and James Robinson and Clyde Edwards-Helaire leading the running backs. It makes no effing sense to me at this point in the season. And there's a lot of overreactions going on, and I get that. But nothing that we predicted coming into this season. We were right on players and stuff. But as far as how these games are unfolding, there's no way you could have told me this. If we would have taken Joe back in July and been like, hey, here's the standing for week 3. I'm from the future. I would have laughed my ass off and walked away.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
that's fair.
Honestly, I almost victory lapped Derek Carr, but I was like, man, that's just aggressive to Raiders fans everywhere. I don't understand like why everyone thought Devontae Adams being there would completely change the landscape of this team. They don't have a defense. I'm sorry, I can't name but one player on their defense that I would actually want on a fantasy roster, or just a roster in general. And then you just added Devontae Adams. That's all you did. Like the offensive line's not better. The running back game isn't better. I mean, yeah, you drafted Zamir White, but you're not using him. Basically, Devontae Adams just took Renfro's role and is doing it better, sort of, because he didn't play last week for some reason, and Mac Hollins did. So, yeah, the passing game looks good on paper, but in reality, you're not winning games, you're not playing a good game, and you're losing. So,
well, that's fair. As far as the football season in general, it's weird that we don't have any elite teams. It's just very strange. We usually have like 4 or 5 good teams. Well, I'm saying, but we have like the Eagles are good and the Bills are good. The Dolphins I'm on the fence about, but like there's no elite, like that team is definitely for sure headed to the Super Bowl teams. Every team is like got a flaw that is something that could bite them in the ass. It's going to be hard to believe that there's going to be a team that wins 3 straight playoff games and wins the Super Bowl. It's going to be amazing that it happens, because in this season alone, it's just, I feel like every week we're going to have one head scratching result. And maybe this is just how it is every year, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like, like last year, like the Packers were really good with Rodgers and Devontae, or like the Bucks were really good defense, a lot of good weapons for Brady. Brady's starting to look old, by the way, but we don't even talk about that because I don't want to doubt the GOAT. But there's just always usually a team or two where you're just like, okay, that team is a for sure win every week. The Chiefs just went into Indy and got their ass kicked. I know that they kind of beat themselves in that game, but they couldn't win. And it was just a nightmare. The Buffalo Bills, they looked discombobulated against Miami. They ran 90 effing offensive plays and couldn't outscore them. It's just mind-boggling what's going on this season.
The Rams are struggling way more than I thought they would. I thought the Rams would absolutely roll. I mean, I get the Super Bowl hangover. They're coming off the win and everything, but the way that team's built, I expected them to roll everybody.
Bengals getting their ass handed to them weekly. So the O-line got worse.
Literally, all of the elite playoff teams, whether the 1 or 2 seeds last year or the people who made it far, all look terrible right now.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, last year was kind of a fluke in the playoffs anyway. I mean, none of the teams that we thought, the Bills got beat, the Chiefs got beat, none of the teams that we had pegged as being the ultimate crowning thing won. So I guess it makes sense now that these teams are struggling, but still, I'm at a loss for words.
I have to say that I gotta, and it's the GOAT, so I can't say anything bad against him. He has no receivers right now. Like he looks bad because he's lost all 3 of his receivers. I mean, he's working with B-list guys. Yeah, it's Russell Gage, who had a good year last year, but he's never done anything beyond that. So I have to give Brady a little bit of trouble.
Last year?
Oh my God!
Will someone explain Russell Gage to me while we're here?
We don't have time to explain Russell Gage right now.
We're too far.
I'll never understand the Russell Gage thing.
But by the way, guys, let me just. Would it shock you all if the Jacksonville Jaguars made the Super Bowl?
No.
Would that shock you?
Well, they've got
a pretty decent defense. You got a decent quarterback. They have a receiver in Kirk that appears to at least be mid. Like you can at least use him. Running game looks good. Wouldn't shock me if they made the Super Bowl. That's just how weird this year is.
No,
I'm not gonna lie to you. Doug Peterson bringing the Jaguars to the Super Bowl would be just a beautiful thing. And honestly, the way they look right now, and we'll get into that in the game previews later, but they look good.
No,
it's crazy what an adult in the room can do for a franchise.